JB, what's kind of your message to the team after?
Stay together, long season. That's the biggest thing right now. Just stay together, keep fighting, keep competing, get back to work on Monday.
The offensive rebounds, they killed on boards again tonight. What do you do to overcome that?
I think in general, more physicality. We can watch every clip in this room, and they'd all look different for a number of reasons. And it's not just boxing out. It's an awareness to go get it. It's an awareness to, fly back in rotations. Part of the board tonight is we're in rotation so much, so we're left with one on the board, or two at times, and they crash basically all their guys. So they're crashing from everywhere. Some of these you're just down numbers. It's a numbers game, and then some of them are physically you got to go hit somebody and go get it. Sometimes there's an unlucky bounce, but in general, you don't want to give up 30. I think second chance points, right? It's 30 second chance points. Could we have cut that in half as a team? Yeah, I think so. Now I got to go back and watch all of them. I can't give you an answer on all 30 points, but it was a combination of a number of things that led to 30. But what do we control? It's our physicality and boxing out and having great effort there. And I'm assuming half of those probably could have been avoided. But, I'll have a clearer picture after watching it.
I was going to say, to that point, they started the game, I think, with a lot of offensive rebounds. Last night was 7. Tonight was 10 in that first quarter. Is intentional physicality something maybe your team still needs to learn? Is there something that's not there present yet with this team? Because it seems they find something later on in the game.
Defensive rebound has been an issue for us since Valanciunas left. Bottom line, I think we lost that presence, that size, that physicality on the board. And little by little, we've been trying to chip away at the defensive rebound. This isn't a new phenomenon that, the board has been an issue for us all year. It was an issue for us all last year. And you're right. There's got to be a physical presence to this thing. And it takes 5 guys. We don't have one guy that's just going to go gobble up every rebound. We don't have that guy. It's got to be a collective effort where you're in front of guys and you're boxing out and you're hitting, and it's a gang rebounding mentality. We had some more of those possessions in the second half. And we had 6'10" guys going to get rebounds finally, and 6'8" guys going to get rebounds finally. But in general, that's got to be a mentality overall. We get away with it many nights because they don't crash all 5, or they're not as good an offensive rebounding team as this one. I thought we were pretty good against Houston. I think we were decent against Dallas. So we've had moments where we've shown that we can do it better. We just got exposed these last 2 nights, and we got to be better there.
What can you say about that effort in the second half? Because despite all those offensive rebounds, and they also hit a lot of threes in that first half, you were just down 2, I think, with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, the resiliency was there, the toughness, the fight was there. I got to give our guys credit for that. They never dropped the sword. They kept fighting. We could have executed better down the stretch, but I think we were right there in that game. It could have gone to a 1-possession game, 4 minutes to go. I'll take that with this group any night. Now we just got to go close and be better down the stretch. So, we got to get better in these moments, especially last 3-4 minutes, executing with the team that, this is new for this group right here. I got 2 rookies out there with Sadiq and Murphy out there, and we got to close a little bit better. But I love the fight. I love the tenacity, the grit's there. So I can't knock our group for that.
You kind of continue that same theme. How tough is it when you give up 20-plus offensive rebounds and 20-plus three-pointers, just not being able to slow them down in either category?
That's a problem. It's a problem. You're gonna give up points like we did tonight. But we still, all that being said, we still had a shot to win the game. It's a 1-possession game. Through all that, we battled our tails. We got enough buckets down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Obviously, Trey, made some big shots, got us back in that game. And but we got to do a better job at the 3-point line. I think the issue I'm going to have watching the film is Gillespie's threes in the first half, similar to Klay Thompson in the Dallas game. He was on their scouting report. He was a hot shooter. He should have got no threes, and we gave him threes. We talked about the offensive board being the number 1 key defensively. We didn't get it done. So that's on us. We got to get better there. But the fight was there.
And one silver lining having Trey, Z, and Queen all go for 20-plus. What do you think that process has been like, finding ways to have all of those guys kind of flourish where it doesn't feel as much as like your turn, my turn type of thing?
That's the goal. It's a challenge with this group. This is new for everybody, trying to figure out how to play amongst each other. I think we're finding some footing there. they're all unselfish players, so that's a positive, but it's at least moving in the right direction. Those guys playing off one another, on ball, off ball. I think we got to figure that out, where we go into game two, how we execute better down the stretch with those three in general. But to me, offensively, we had 16 assists. That's the issue. We had 21 last night, 16 tonight. I think we're at like 20, 21 layups at the rim that we missed. We missed 17 free throws last night. Those are areas that we got to clean up and be better, but we got to kick it out as well. We got to shoot more threes when we get downhill and not take such tough shots. But again, I'll watch the film and see how many of those could have been kicked out more. My sense watching it is that the ball was not being kicked out enough. We were taking too many tough ones. But we did miss 21 at the rim. So we just got to be better in all phases.
When you mentioned the rebounding when it comes to like the physicality, the instinctual thing, and all that part of it, is that something that can kind of be addressed in practice and worked on in that area?
Yeah, I'll never say you can't work on rebounding. I think there's a theory, and I have a little theory, and sometimes it's a little bit of a basically rebounders rebound. Like they just, you either have those guys or you don't. But I'm not going to buy into that. I think you can work at it. I think it's a habit. If you go back to the summer and training camp and all those drills that you do, there's got to be a physical presence. They didn't rebound the ball like that last year, if my memory served me right. They're a much better rebounding team this year, Phoenix, at least on the offensive board. So it's an identity piece of theirs. They're more physical, they're more aggressive, they're more intentional about going after rebounds. We got to be the same. We're trying to flip this on the fly, defensive rebounding and offensive rebounding. But I'll never say you can't work at it and get better. There's just got to be intention put on it, accountability put on it, pride put on it, and be more consistent in that area.
If you go back to the closing real quick, they have Devin Booker. He closed last 2 nights. What would you like to see from your group? Or is it just something that has to happen kind of organically because you do have 2 rookies?
It's a work in progress. Booker's been doing this for a number of years. This is not new to Booker. He's been doing this for, I don't know, at least the last 5+ years where he's closed in end of game situations where he's very comfortable in those moments. We're trying to do with a group that's new. It's new for Murphy. It's new for, the rookies. Z's obviously been in these moments closing, so we got to trust that. So I think just in general, we just got to execute better down the stretch. We're trying to find that balance of playing fast and then executing the set. Who are we going to? What are we calling? And in that 5-game run, we did a good job closing. I think we were the second best fourth quarter team in December. We're close to that. Our last 10 games, there was execution there. I'd say these last 2 games, Booker looked a little bit more comfortable in those moments. Same thing for us. I'm trusting us. I think we're growing in those areas. I think I've seen it. I have evidence of that in that 5-game winning streak where we've done a good job closing. Tonight probably wasn't our finest moment, but I think we did enough. We at least had some good looks down the stretch that we just didn't knock down as well. And then obviously last night, 17 free throws. So, but get back together and get ready to go for Monday.
Did you get a chance to see a replay?
Not yet. I have not seen that. Good. Thanks, everybody.